Make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell if you want to get the videos as soon as they upload.
How are you doing as I check our connection? A couple messages for the viewers, so pick a section, have a seat. Yeah, I know this is different, quit with the questions. Allow me a second, please, to make my first impression.
Hey, what up? Welcome to 978 Customs. Welcome back to all my friends and family. Today I want to talk to you guys about Kane. You guys know who Kane is, the Spider clone, the messed up version of Spider-Man. In fact, he has his own name. He's not Peter Parker. Well, Ben Reilly has his own name too, so it's no anomaly. But Kane is one of those cooler Spider-Man. He's a little darker. He's a little more intimidating than Peter Parker would be, because Peter Parker is also very intimidating. Let's not confuse that. But he's a kid. He's a nerd. You know, he wants to do the right thing at all times, where Kane, he's not that. He'll do what he needs to do in order to fight. In fact, in the Spider-Verse, he is considered the totem, and the inheritors really wanted to kill him the most out of all the other spiders. So he is special. This version is a bit bigger than the one we got from Marvel Legends, but if we did compare them, you can see they both are very similar. There's not much difference besides body type and maybe eye shape. I find that cool about the Spider-Verse, though, is that Spider-Man, even though they're clones and different versions and alternate versions of Peter Parker and so on, they all have different body types, and I think that's pretty neat. You won't have the same simple figure on your shelf. You can have different sizes and different looks for Spider-Man, and I think that's cool. It never gets old for me. But this one is on the UK body versus the one that's on the Sunfire body on the left that Hasbro gave us, this one. And they look similar, honestly. It'd be hard to tell if you weren't a Marvel Legends expert or if you weren't a collector. You would notice the difference. I mean, as far as body size go, because the bodies are very similar. A lot of people complain that the Spider UK head gets put on the Sunfire body a lot for the new Spider-Man. And honestly, I don't find that to be a big deal. I think the jaw's a little big, but it works. Here are the two logos. Mine is a little different. It's hard to replicate these logos sometimes, especially with the little space you may have, but I think it looks pretty decent enough. The back doesn't look like the front exactly, but it is decent enough to resemble it, so you can see that they are pretty much the same logo. I wanted to do different eyes here. Seeing that it was the UK body anyway, I wanted to get the bigger eyes that kind of we got with the older Hasbro Scarlet Spider, like the first one. Remember the one with the ball hip joints? But you could put this head on the body if you want. You could put the Marvel Legends head on the custom body, and vice versa if you want to even try that. I will say that the reds are slightly different. Mine is a bit more cherry red, where Hasbro's seems a little more orange. I think this Kane body style would work well with the retro Spider-Man we got recently with the new articulation. I think it sizes up really well. You can see that the super articulated one might be even taller than the Kane on the right side on the UK body. And again, you could even put it with the Pizza Spider-Man or the Raph Spider-Man, whatever one you prefer. I have the Raph one right here next to me, so I'm just going to put this one up. But you can see that as far as sizes go, although they are three different sizes and three different Spider-Man, they do kind of fit in uniform. Like, again, if you pick up any issue of the Spider-Verse, you'll see that they just come in different sizes and different looks, and I think that's pretty nice. It's like going to a Comic-Con and seeing a bunch of people wearing Spider-Man costumes. Usually we all like to link up together and just take a couple pictures and stuff like that. So that's what it looks like to me. Someone on my Instagram asked me how to make Spider-Man emblems, and I told them if they watched the symbiote logo, with that same technique, you can pretty much get any emblem. But because they're so different, I decided to make a tutorial on this Spider-Man emblem specifically. So if you want to see that, I'll try to put the link in the description if I remember. But for the most part, you can find it in like 2 or 3 videos before this one. There's a short video and then there's a longer video. Have some hands, some grip hands. I painted simple stuff. They came with the UK figure, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually, I'm lying. They came with a Deadpool figure. But nonetheless, I think this figure will look good on your shelf amongst your other Spider-Man. And this was commissioned, by the way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it because we already have a pretty decent Scarlet Spider-Man. But I can't deny that he does look good on this body type. This head belongs to Cosmic Spider-Man, and accurate to the comic it is. But I feel like it works with this Scarlet Spider-Man because Kane does also have a semi-beard or a 5 o'clock shadow. So this does work. And there are 2 versions where Kane has long hair and short hair. But Kane is big now that I remember. So he does work on this UK body. Kane is bigger than Peter Parker, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it. So it would make sense to put him on a UK body. Again, I'm not mad at the Sunfire body we got because, you know, I'm a butterfly joint fanatic. But they do look good together. We got Billy Braddock and we got Kane Parker, both side by side. You know, Spider UK and you know the Kane Scarlet Spider. Maybe we could get a Ben Riley or Hobby Brown or Miles Morales or Miguel O'Hara. There's a lot of different versions of Spider-Man, and Peter Parker's not the only guy. And again, that's what kind of got me into the Spider-Verse. I want to say I kind of improved the articulation a bit on this figure, because if you know anything about the Spider UK, he had a couple issues, maybe one or two, nothing too big, that were kind of problematic when it comes to action figures. At least one more than the other. And the shoulder joints were kind of bad. Like, they had extra plastic on the top to kind of fill out the character, but every time you lift it, you would rub it. Like you see right now, I just rubbed it purposely for you to see. And then the double jointed knees weren't so double jointed. You only got like 90 degrees, and it's because of the bottom leg. It's a lot more plastic than it should be on that joint area. So what I did was just cut it out, and now you can see that he's able to bend his leg to the full double jointed position like most Marvel Legends would, rather than that kind of awkward 90-degree position that it would normally get. Sorry guys, I'm still kind of getting up lazy. I'm mumble jumbling. What do you guys think? Do you think Kane would look good on a Spider UK body, or would you rather see him on the new super articulated body? Me personally, I would like him to go with the rest of the figures, so I'd probably put him on the articulated body. But honestly, I didn't really realize how big Kane was until looking up these reference pictures. And I have a couple Scarlet Spider-Man comic books, but I didn't really take notice because I always knew different artists drew different interpretations of Spider-Man. So I would have just assumed they were all the same size. But again, in the Spider-Verse, when you have them all lined up, you'll see that they're all different shapes and sizes. For the articulation, you can move it any way. You can move your average Marvel Legend. You shouldn't worry too much about paint rub. Even though this figure was entirely blue, red sucks to paint because you got to do layer after layer after layer, and I think it's like 5, 6, maybe even 7 layers of red to get that solid color red. But I would say you should be free of all paint rub. Maybe 1 or 2 areas might, you know, it's always like that even with factory figures, but I try my best to make sure that all figures are rub free so you can pose them at your will and play with them. Well, that's it guys. If you like this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more customs like this, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to get the content as soon as it uploads. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
But if you choose to subscribe, you the man. Yes, you. Everyone below in the comments, yes, you too. Thank you very much for showing me love. Who knew? It's ironic how we think out the box for you too, right?